Oh, but KB baby. So we got Jamarl Thomas here, Democrat leadership in disarray. Give us 6 months, but still vote blue. So if you don't know who Jamarl Thomas is, he's pretty far left. He's progressive. I'm pretty sure he's not gonna do the centrist. Oh, the Democrats are bad, but we got to vote for them anyway. Let's see what he has to say.
I want to start off with
Oh,
Pelosi.
let me. I forgot you can't hear when it's on this. I've got to change screens. Hold on. So that's him with his name there.
So yeah, damn good show for you today. I want to start off with Pelosi. I would say that Democrats are in a bit of disarray. And the reason why I say they're in a bit of disarray is because they're in a bit of disarray. They don't seem to know how to deal with the new Donald Trump, a Trump that's more confident, that's more secure, and not just more confident and more secure, but beat them where it counts in the ballot box, not just getting the vote tally enough to get over the finish line, but actually winning outright in the election. And they don't seem to know what to do with that. They get a population that says was like 30% approve of the Democratic Party. They get Trump with the polling that doesn't look necessarily horrible, even after all of the Bigfoot moves that he has been doing since getting into that office. They don't seem to know how to deal with that. All right, clearly something needs to change. They just don't know what that something is. And one caveat, they don't know what that something is in the context of maintaining the system as it currently operates. There's a difference in those things. What I mean by that is, it's like saying, I want to maintain my same living situation. However, other things are not intact for me to maintain that living situation. And yet I want to maintain the living situation. Meaning they know that something is wrong, but they don't necessarily want to change anything real in order to deal with the things that are wrong. And therein lies the rub with the current Democratic Party, and not just the current Democratic Party, what they are going to do in order to deal with addressing Trump and addressing him going forward. So Pelosi dragged on to CNN. She may not necessarily be Speaker of the House, but she is still Mama Bear
Mama
in
Bear.
regards to the way people see the political space. And Pelosi, astonishingly, said this.
When you're limping about, people treat you.
Let's see what Nancy had to say.
And I'm going to play this out a little bit just so you can hear the lead up to what Pelosi is saying here.
Tonight, Congresswoman Nancy Pelosi says that Democrats have a plan to counter President Trump's aggressive political agenda, as her party has been zeroing in on Elon Musk, holding rallies at the very agencies that he has been working to purge. Now, almost 3 weeks into the second Trump presidency, the former House Speaker says change is coming.
We're very proud of Hakeem Jeffries, our leader. He has given us guidance on our priorities, what we're here to fight for, but also how we counter the Trump administration with litigation in the courts, legislation on the floor of the House, as well as communication and mobilization at the grassroots level. In about 6 or 7 months, you're going to see such a change. Litigation in the courts, legislation on the floor of the House, as well as communication and mobilization at the grassroots level. In about 6 or 7 months, you're going to see such a change. By the time we start our campaigns in this fall, for next fall, you're going to see a very different picture about the Democrats vis-a-vis Donald Trump.
Not ever.
What does that even mean? What does that even mean? 6 or 7 months? 6 or 7 months? So Pelosi is effectively saying, just hold on, guys. In 6 or 7 months, the Democratic Party is going to make adjustments. And you're going to see those adjustments in 6 or 7 months. You know, the thing that she didn't say in this? Grand strategy. Grand strategy.
What she was going to do for the people?
Lawsuits are tactics. Yeah, you could say it's a strategy in the sense that this is something that you plan to do over and over and over again. Okay, fair enough. But let's be clear. a lawsuit is somewhat of a tactic. What I don't hear is we plan to set an agenda, and that agenda is going to focus on XYZ in order to bring people back to the party. That's what I don't hear. That's what she did not say. And I would argue that that is the thing that is probably more important than the other stuff. Meaning, what is underlying what you are effectively trying to tell the American public to say, hey, we are actually a viable party. We're a viable vehicle for you to come back to, for you to be involved in, for you to kind of push in order to do social change. We are a viable party to do that. I'm pointing out that without grand strategy in the context of this is what we represent, this is what we stand for, this is what we're pushing for, this other stuff is secondary. Now, you may hope that Trump falls flat. And if he falls flat, that you can kind of pick up the pieces and run with the fact that he fell flat. But that is more so waiting for your opponent to screw up, which he may do, because again, we're after all talking about Donald Trump. But that is not the most.
That's not a great
that
plan.
doesn't instill me with confidence. That doesn't give me this feeling like, ooh, they get the fact that they have screwed up somewhere along the way. That is not what I get out of this. That is not what I get out of this. So, one of the other things that came up, Pod Save America. So Pod Save America was asked this. And listen to what he's saying here. His argument is effectively what Democrats are trying to sort themselves out. And as Democrats sort themselves out, we still need people to continue to support and vote for the Democratic Party as it sorts itself out. What? What? You want people to back and vote for you, to push for you, to try to get you in office when you don't even know what you are. I hope you understand what I mean, right? Like, one of the main things in the questions that continuously came up, what do you represent? What do you stand for? What does it mean to be a Democrat? And over again, they did not necessarily have the best of answer for that. And in not having a good answer for it, you can imagine people looking at this and saying, okay, well, why am I voting for something if you can't even tell me what you are? His thing is, well, we still need people to vote for us. And between Trump and Democrats, it's easy. If it was that easy, Kamala Harris would be president of the United States. This is right here. I'm not going to play the entirety of the clip. I'm just going to play a part of it in order to make the point. But I think they're missing the boat.
Pod Save America, the direction that I'm seeing is vote for Democrats.
Assalamu alaikum.
Don't forget to leave a comment. Tell me why you're going to leave the Democratic Party or why you're going to stay. But hopefully over time I can convince you to leave, fill the Green Party. We need people to fill the people-powered party if it's going to be a people party.
It's truly
wait, wrong thing. Where am I going, Skip?
Mm-hmm. You even have a political action wing that is a part as a way to fund candidates. But I found something.
What did you just say?
The direction that I'm seeing is vote for Democrats. Mm-hmm. You even have a political action wing that is a part as a way to fund candidates. But I found something, and this is just from me traveling the country and performing for a wide variety of different audiences in different states. Yeah. The general public as a whole doesn't trust politicians as a whole. 100%. On either side, because they don't think that.
So that's a great point. Part of the Green Party is we're not going to be politicians. We need regular people to join the Green Party. Some of us run for seats. I'm a personal trainer teacher. I'm going to run for Senate. We have regular people run for anything, school board, mayor, governor, anything, Senate, House of Representative, state Senate, state House. There's all kinds of city council, anything. All the small stuff to all the big stuff. We need regular people in. Most of us probably won't win. But if we get a few people in, and then even if we don't win, even if none of us win, what if we all get on stage and we all get to say what we feel, what we need, or what we think that the community needs, and we get to say it with the Democrats and Republicans, and then the Democrats can actually hear what people really want. They're not hearing us. But I think we'll win. If we can fill the Green Party, if you're a regular old person, join the Green Party. You don't even have to. You can still be a Democrat. Just become a Green Party member, and so that way the membership goes up, and we can see that going up. We can show people. We can talk about our stats and this and that. We can show people numbers, We're going to do volunteering soon. I got a meeting this Saturday. And right after that, we should start this month, starting to plan organizations, organizing and volunteer things. But just, I digress. We go back.
That they represent them.
And less so than at any time in recent history.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with them. They feel like they represent their donors. So how is voting even harder for Democrats the answer? Yeah, they're concerned.
It's not. It's part of what we want to do and what we've been trying to do, as well as just vote for Democrats, is having a conversation, being a place for a conversation and a debate about the future of the Democratic Party and what kind of Democratic candidates we want to elect, and focusing on primaries and what kind of party we want to be, what we want to stand for. And I think there's a healthy debate to be had. There's also a lot of emotion around that, especially now. But I think that's critical, because I don't think, now, the reason we still say go vote Democrats is because when it's, at the end of the day, when it's Democrats versus Donald Trump and his brand of Republicans, then it's a pretty easy choice, even if the Democrats are perfect.
True. I guess, well, not for me. But if we do fill the Green Party and we do get the ticket filled with Green parties, now you have 3 actual viable choices, right? All we need is enough regular people. How many options are there? There's going to be 20 to maybe even 50. Say there's 50 people on every ballot. We need 50 people in every state. I guess there's probably a couple states without 1 million people in it. But Hawaii is a pretty small state. We got over 1 million people. All we need is 50 people or less probably. And then some states will have, but Rhode Island, North Dakota, going to have a couple 100,000 people, trying to get 20 to 50 people out of those. But we're not going to, but just try to fill it. And just make it, let's do a social experiment. Even if you don't believe that we can win. Let's see what people can do. Let's try a social experiment, if nothing else.
You don't like them that much. But ideally, we want to build a party that people want to be part of.
They want to build a party that people want to be a part of.
Perfect. You don't like them that much. But ideally, we want to build a party that people want to be part of.
Dude, I think you're missing the boat. And I don't say this brutally. I say it honestly. I think you're missing the boat. You're making this argument that people should vote for Democrats, even when Democrats don't know what they stand for, don't know what they represent, and for that part, the public don't know what they stand for,
Orange man
and don't
bad.
know what they represent. And you still make this argument, well, we believe people should vote for Democrats anyway. Why?
Exactly.
I understand why you think that, because you're a Democrat. But what about everybody else? I find that clip to be astonishing, just like I find the last clip to be rather astonishing. You are a political party in the United States, one of the major political parties, and you have no clue what you represent in real terms. And despite having no clue in what you represent in real terms, you are still making a pitch for people to vote for you. That is astonishing. What are they voting for?
Struggling with debt? Take this quiz.
No clue. No clue. But we still want people to vote for us. We still want you to go out and support and send us money because, Kamala Harris is $20 million in debt. That is outrageous. That is outrageous.
We can do better, guys.
I know that he's sitting here with his legs crossed thinking that what he just said makes perfect sense. I'm pointing out that is absurd. It's an absurd premise. Vote for me even though you don't necessarily know what you're voting for. Okay, fair enough. If people do that, how do they ever affect their political agenda? Say for the moment that people are voting not for the sake of voting. Say people are voting because they want to actually get something accomplished. People like me.
Right.
How can I get something accomplished if you don't even know what you're trying to get accomplished? And why should I give you any level of support if indeed you don't know what you want to get accomplished? How do I know that what you get accomplished or what you want to get accomplished falls in line with what I want to get accomplished? There is no way for me to know that if you don't know who you are, if you don't know what you represent, if you don't know what you're pushing for in the political space. This is absurdity. Whether it's coming out of Pelosi saying, give us 7 months in order to figure out who we are and what we represent, or this guy saying, we don't know what we are. And despite the fact that we don't necessarily know what we are, we still want your support. Outrageous. Outrageous. Completely and entirely outrageous. There's a saying that the right wins when the left loses. And what's meant by that is that for all intents and purposes, if you are fighting on the side of the left and you're doing this kind of legitimate push for workers' rights, workers' protection, those type of things, you're dealing with the overwhelming majority of the American public and have a much better chance of getting those people on your side, as opposed to, let's say, a 1% from the right. I think that's true in the US. I even think that's true in Europe. But I want to go to my guess. Just outrageous, just astonishing. Statement by these guys. Let me go to my guess. We are.
Oh. Okay, here it is. Him with his guest, Ted Rawl.
Right, I know, right? That's what when people ask me, they're like, wow, you seem to be handling X or Y well. It's like, what's the alternative? What do you do? I got to hit the story first. So, Hakeem Jeffries, ostensibly the leader of the Democratic Party, right? I mean, he's, at the very least, Speaker of the House. Mama Bear stepped down. A lot of people believe that Mama Bear is still wielding a lot of power behind the scenes. I am one of those people that believe that, by the way. I don't believe that after 20-something years that Pelosi all of a sudden just gave up the reins completely. But whatever. No. Hakeem Jeffries, he's the standard bearer for the Democratic Party right now. He came out with this, I said this yesterday, he's getting a bit of heat for this. And I want to get your take on it before I say it here. And by the way, I'm using this as a conversation, less of an interview. I'm trying to see what I'm doing.
What leverage do we have?
Secondary to the point. This is Jeffries. Give me your take on this.
This is going to be a famous.
To figure out what leverage we actually have.
What leverage do we have?
What leverage do we have? They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have?
Total capitulation.
Run ads, run ads, run ads.
What leverage do we have? Now, I get you having this conversation behind the scenes, right? Like if you and the other Democrats are sitting in a room and you're trying to figure out, okay, what do we do? What do we do? How do we deal with this situation? This is a crisis. They've taken over everything. They're shutting down our companies, our organizations. What do we do? I get that conversation behind the scenes of, well, what leverage do we have in this process? Usually, though, you come out and you puff your chest, whether you have leverage or not. We're going to do this. We believe in this. And the Democratic Party is going to say, that's not where he is. He is effectively a broken man ahead of a broken party, coming out saying the quiet part out loud. What do you expect us to do?
Broken leaders and a broken party, broken man. Our party is just not strong yet. We just need people to come in and fill it. We have the right platform. We have universal health care is one of our number one things. Climate change, our top 5 is like universal health care, climate change, either higher minimum wage or UBI, child care, education, things like that. The Democrats, they're not here to help us.
We don't have any power in this process. We can't do anything.
Right. So they actually do have a little bit of power, but they don't want to use it. They got all kinds of money. Kamala Harris brought in what, $1.5 billion or something like that, $1.2 billion. I think it was 1.5. That's power. The Green Party doesn't have power quite yet. We need your power. We need the power of the people. If you come to the Green Party, you will back us. We will back you. We will back the ideas that the people have. The Democrats aren't going to do that.
They own it all. They've taken it all. What do we do? What do we do? Now, just to make a point, when Donald Trump won the first time around, that was not Pelosi's point of view, nor was it the Democratic Party's point of view. They were still in this mindset of, we are at war, and we are going to fight every confirmation hearing. We're going to fight everything. That is not where they are today. This is a broken party, and they are exuding the energy of a broken party, represented by Hakeem Jeffries in that statement of, what do you want us to do? They own it all. I'm fascinated by that. Give me a take on that. You've watched politics forever, and you have this kind of encyclopedic memory of all of these eras and epochs in our political history in this country. So I am definitely into your take on this.
Well, Jamal, I mean, I do have a long memory, maybe more than most just ordinary voters. But I don't think you have to have a very long memory to remember, like, what the Republicans do when they're in the minority and they have to deal with a Democratic, trifecta. Barack Obama, 2008, when he came in, he had a supermajority in the United States Senate for a hot second, granted, but he did have it. He certainly enjoyed a majority in the Senate and in the House for the first, for his first term. What did Mitch McConnell famously said?
Wait. Ted, give me 1 second. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. I'm going to let you pick up right where you left off. Please continue. I'm sorry.
Okay, so, what did Mitch McConnell say famously in 2009 and 2010? He said, my number one job of the Republican Party is to make sure Barack Obama is a one-term president, make sure he fails on everything. He said it again after they failed to do that and Romney lost. In 2014, they said, okay, we're still not going to let him have anything he wants, right? He won't have his nominees, and we will not let him get anything through Congress. And for the most part, they succeeded. Republicans obstruct. And, I remember hearing, liberals and Democrats complain about it at the time. And I defended Republicans. I said, they are doing what a minority party is supposed to do. The system is set up to allow this. Minority. So it's like, even though if you have 50.1% of the vote, doesn't mean you get to run roughshod over the 49.9% who didn't vote for you. So or let's say it's 60-40, those 40% still have minority rights. And so that's what Democrats ought to do when they find
no mob rule is what he's saying.
Themselves in this exact position. And I mean, so people have
a lot of memory
to remember what Republicans did in terms of obstructionism to Biden, and before that to Obama. And, I guess I would have said Bill Clinton, except that he was basically a Republican. So it's, so it's ridiculous. I think Hakeem Jeffries is overestimating the ignorance and the memory, and underestimating the memory of the American people. This is absurd. There's lots of stuff that they can do. There's all the times the Republicans try to shut down the government, or refuse to raise the debt ceiling, or refused to pass a federal budget to keep the government open. Democrats can do that when they're in the minority. No muss, no fuss. Democrats can also they can block nominations. Any single senator can put a hold on a nomination, and it won't go through. Any single senator, right? I mean, so I'll tell you what is not something Democrats have to do. Vote 99-0 unanimously, the entire U.S. Senate for Marco Rubio for Secretary of State. They don't have to do that. Maureen Dowd, who, whenever she comes up from the bottom of her glass of gin, has something clever to say. She said that, she's a couple days ago, she said, this wasn't actually her. This was on the media, Brooke Gladstone. She said the Democrats are hoarding their no votes like precious jewels.
Hoarding their no votes? What? Hoarding their no votes?
Man, pass them things out, right? If you want to vote no, vote no. Hoarding your no votes.
That's awesome. It's something Maureen Dowd might have said. But I want to give credit where it's due. Anyway, the point is, they're not, you can obstruct. And so, look, there's one thing. There's definitely the jujitsu approach to politics. Let them have their way. Then the American people will see what assholes they are, and then they'll turn on them. I mean, one thing you can count on about Donald Trump is that he will overreach. Fair. But then the problem with that is, I still get letters. My mom died 4 years ago. I still get her mail, right? And she was an avid Democrat, a big donor. So I'm always getting these things from the DNC. Send us money, right? And they always say donate money so we can fight back, so we can fight Trump, so we can fight. And I'm like, okay, so you can't do the jujitsu soft pillow thing and say raise money by claiming you're fighting. Those two things don't go together. Either you're the soft pillow and you just let yourself get beaten up over and over until your rival breaks his fingers on your face, or you come out fighting a party of fighters. You got to choose. You can't do both. And like the Democratic Party has clearly chosen to do neither, right? They're kind of like, you know, they're not like really like say announcing, you know, elections have consequences. We want, the American people have chosen this. We're going to take our toys and go back to our own yard.
All right, well, I'm going to leave that one there. So, yeah, the Democrats, they got no plan. They don't know what they're doing. They're not expressing anything to anybody. Wait some 6-7 months to see what we might be able to come up with and do. And they're not going to do anything for us. They're not going to do anything about universal health care, raising the minimum wage. But, yeah, so Jamarl Thomas, somebody I wanted to bring into the channel, let you guys know about him. He's a lefty, does news, obviously, and talks to people. So I'm just trying to, you know, bring you information from across the spectrum. And, you know, go green, vote green, call your Green Party, get online, become a member, donate maybe a little bit. But hey, if you can run. Let's do this together. People powered party needs people to power it.